Can statins trigger fibromyalgia? I don't think so. I don't, in terms of statin medications and their effects on muscle or joint achiness, these are reversible. So you may feel poorly while you're taking them, but when you stop taking the medications, those muscle side effects and or joint, aches that you may have, they should go away. They should go away. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes, you should feel better within a week. You should feel markedly better within a couple of weeks. Sometimes it can take a month. But it shouldn't be something that just lingers and lingers and lingers. That feels like something different. So I would say, can they, cause fibromyalgia? I don't think so. Can they trigger it? Probably not. But again, back to that individual N of one humbling, caveat that, within an individual, we can't be absolutely sure. But if you look at the general population and the huge, huge numbers of people who have taken statins, this would be very, very, very unusual. Okay, next question. Is statin intolerance time related? More likely after several months versus several weeks. So let's focus on, it kind of depends, I guess, on which statin side effect you're talking about. So because they work in the liver, right, that's where cholesterol is packaged and processed, statins can affect liver function. They're supposed to just affect one enzyme, HMG-CoA reductase, but sometimes they have a broader effect and rev up the liver in general. That we see very, very early. So when you start taking your statins, that's why we typically check a liver panel, or at least one liver test, when we recheck your cholesterol to make sure that we haven't affected liver function. That happens very early, and if your liver's affected, we start to see your enzymes go up. Now, that side effect, that the liver enzymes going up can be transient, just as your liver kind of gets used to having this medication around, and then they come back. But if we start to see your liver function go up and up and up, it's like, okay, this is probably from the statin. Time to stop the medication, let your liver function test come back down to normal. This is a reversible side effect. It happens very, very early. So it's not one of these things where you're on statins for 5 years and all of a sudden we start to see your liver function tests go up. That's from something else. That's not from the statins. On the muscle side effects, that's a little bit longer. So most people will not notice things right away. It can be weeks to months before they notice the achiness. Typically, if you get through the first 6 months of being on a statin, and that's at the dose that you're on, so it's a stable dose of a stable format, right? So 20 milligrams of Crestor, now you've been on it for 6 months. If you haven't had any muscle side effects, chances are very high you're going to do great. It really falls off at around the 6-month mark as to whether or not you're going to get achy, and especially if you make it past the first year. Very, very unlikely. Now, every single time you change the format or the brand, or you increase the dose, the clock starts again. So, another 6 months to up to a year. It's very, very unusual to get achy from a statin years out while you've been taking it. Again, it's most likely something else. It has nothing to do with the statin. Brain fog also tends to happen pretty early, so it's not one of these things where 5 years down, like all of a sudden you can't remember where you left your car keys and that's due to the statin. No, that happens very early. More like liver in terms of the timing, and again goes away when you stop the medication. And I want to make an important point here. If you look at the long-term data, statins are protective against dementia. This kind of brain fog that people get, which is unusual, but they can get it with taking statins. That's not dementia. That's truly brain fog. That's a side effect and goes away with stopping the medication. Over the long haul, statins are protective from a neurocognitive perspective, probably because they're protective against strokes and mini strokes and vascular disease, and our brains are highly vascular. So Statins protect against dementia long term.